Hello, everyone. This is Rachel from the future going through and doing some editing. As I've been editing, I've been noticing a lot of background noise, and I just wanted to say I'm sorry. This is a learning process for us, and this has been one of my biggest ventures, and I'm really excited for it. But that also means I'm going to make some mistakes because this is a learning process. However, I am super excited about today's excursion. That was weird. Discussion. So please enjoy what we have for you. And as a reminder, this is a two-part episode. So the next episode will be out next week, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. So without further ado, here is the first part.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to I'm Not the Book Expert, but She Is. My name is Maggie, and I am not the book expert, but I did finish the book for this week, and that is saying something.
Okay, rude. I have read this book more than once.
Yes.
So I just didn't finish this specific reread, and the last time I read them was just in January, so it's not like it's been that long.
Yeah, but you still didn't finish it.
Okay, whatever. I am Rachel. I am the book expert for today, and we are still joined by my sister.
I'm Leah, and like Rachel said, I'm her sister, and I also know Maggie from college, and we're good friends, so I'm excited to be here.
We're all friends here.
Are we, though?
Sometimes.
Well, I'll just see myself out then. It's clear that I am not needed anymore.
Okay, but you all said you were going to mock me because I didn't finish this reread of it.
Even I finished this one.
Even Leah finished this one.
Come on, man.
Whatever. But we are still recording today's episode on the same day, same time approximately that we did the last one, except we did stop for lunch. So Maggie, what did you have for lunch today?
We went to a sushi burrito and bubble tea place.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got mango milk tea with boba, and I got a sushi burrito with like crab and mango and cream cheese and good stuff. So that was very delicious.
Delightful.
And if I seem a little bit dazed, it's because I'm hitting the post-lunch slump. So if I may just fall asleep at my computer, but it'll be fine. We'll work through it together.
Because we're in person, I can kick you awake now.
That would be very violent.
Well, we are discussing the Faithless Hawk.
Which is very violent.
So.
Leah, what did you get for lunch?
I got a taro milk tea and a rice bowl with chicken and some veggies. So it's pretty yummy.
Delightful. I got my normal sushi bowl, so I got salmon and tuna and a bunch of fixings on top. But then I branched out with my tea today, and I got a strawberry lemonade black iced tea with boba in it, and it was quite good. I don't know if I'd get it again because I really like my taro milk teas, but I thought this was a good compliment to my sushi today.
Rachel tried something new today, and we're very proud of her.
I did try something new. But we are going to go ahead and get back into our discussion today.
Yeah, we're talking about The Faithless Hawk by Margaret Owen, which is the sequel to The Merciful Crow. And if you have not listened to our episode about The Merciful Crow yet, you should go back and listen to that because we will be spoiling that book, obviously.
A lot.
Because
sequel. But before we jump into our discussion, Rachel, found a Merciful cast system quiz that we're all going to take. We've all taken it once. I've gotten it at least once. I've gotten a different cast each time I've taken it. So we're going to take turns reading the questions out. We're going to select our answers and then tell you what casts we end up with at the end.
So I'll read the first question.
Sweet.
You are backed into a corner with only one weapon within reach. Which do you choose? None, I only need my fists. A staff, daggers, or a potion that will make you invisible. What's everybody picking?
Potion.
Daggers.
I picked the staff.
Oh no.
So question number 2 reads, the plague has struck your village. What do you do to help? 1, make the infected comfortable. There's nothing you can do for them now. 2, run to the neighboring village to find a renowned healer. 3, forage for herbs and minerals with rumored medicinal properties. Or 4, run while you still can and get somewhere safe. This one's always a hard one for me because I'm always stuck between 2 answers.
Mm-hmm. I don't know which one I'm going to pick.
I think I know what I'm going to pick this time.
I know what I picked.
What did you pick, Maggie?
Run while you still can and get somewhere safe. Because I'm a terrible person.
Leah, what are you picking?
I was gonna make them feel comfortable.
I always get stuck between that one and forage for herbs and minerals, and
Yeah.
I'm foraging for herbs and minerals this time.
Yeah. So the next question says, what do you choose for your animal sidekick? A cat, a wolf, a falcon, or a serpent?
I know what Leah is not picking.
What's your guess?
I'm picking a
that
cat.
Leah is not picking a cat or a falcon.
Oh, interesting. That's not what I thought you would say.
Why? Did you think I would say serpent?
Yeah.
Well, you're allergic to cats and you're scared of birds.
I'm also scared of serpents.
Well, then you've only got
So
one
are you
option.
picking the wolf?
I'm gonna choose the wolf.
And I'm picking the falcon.
Leah's for the wolf. All right, where is your ideal home? By the sea, in the mountains, in the city, or I'm a nomad. The whole world is my home.
This is always another difficult question.
I'm stuck between the sea, like by the sea, or nomad.
I'm picking the mountains.
I know I'm not picking the city.
Yes, city is
Yeah, I'm not
loud.
picking the city.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go nomad because ideally I would want to be in the mountains by the sea.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, and okay, again, context. Leah and I are originally from the Pacific Northwest, where you have mountain and sea right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I'm gonna go with nomad. Too.
I'm going nomad. Next question. Which element do you identify with the most? Earth, water, fire, or wind?
Long ago, the four nations lived together in harmony.
I always get stuck between fire and water, which are exact opposites, but I think that's very me.
I'm going for water.
I like fire. I like the concept of fire, but I always feel like Earth is more me. I don't know why.
I think that makes sense. I think I'm
gonna
going
go
with
with Earth.
fire.
We're all so different.
But that's why we work well together for this podcast.
I'm gonna laugh if any of us get the same
That would be
cast
so
as each
funny.
other.
Which of these traits most accurately describes you? Honest, brave, diplomatic, caring, outgoing, or ambitious?
I hate answering questions about myself like this. I hate introspection.
Back to the question.
Back to the question. I don't know what I'm going to... Oh no, I tapped something! Well, apparently I'm diplomatic now. That was an accident, but that's what I tapped.
I think that's accurate, though.
I think I can
Yeah.
be diplomatic sometimes.
I think the one I'm picking is honest.
I'm going caring.
Aww. Look at us good, wholesome people. That's a lie.
You can't see our faces, but yeah.
At the end of a long journey, you find yourself at a tavern. What do you crave the most? 1, an apple. You haven't had fresh food for days. 2, dumplings, something to warm your belly. 3, stew to nourish you. Or 4, sweets. After nothing but stale bread, you want something flavorful. All of these sound really good.
I agree.
I'm going with stew.
I am also going with stew.
I was gonna pick dumplings.
I always struggle between stew and an apple,
Mm.
but I think I'm going stew.
Mm.
Who do you admire most? Your parents, influential politicians, scientists and scholars, ambitious artists, or blank? Because I think that they forgot
think
to
there
get
was
rid
a
of
mistake.
the... Yeah.
But
But
also, it says accomplished artists.
what did I say?
Ambitious.
Oh.
Like Caesar.
I mean,
I know what I'm picking. This one always remains the same.
yeah, I know what I'm picking.
I think I'm gonna pick accomplished artists.
Ambitious artists.
No.
Choosing parents.
I'm choosing scientists and scholars.
Interesting.
Not that I don't love my parents.
Whatever.
It's fine. Leah.
Next one. It says choose one: strength, cleverness, beauty, or wealth.
Cleverness, hands down.
Cleverness.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm already beautiful. I don't need it anymore. Would you rather rule the kingdom, create beautiful art, explore the world, or connect with others?
I know what I pick. It's the same one every time.
I'm torn between art and the world.
Interesting. Leah?
I'm between explore the world and connect with others.
I always pick connect with others because when you connect with others, you can explore the world and you get to see beautiful art, and in a way, you get to rule a kingdom.
Interesting. What are you gonna pick, Leah?
I think connect with others.
I think I'm going to pick explore the world. And we're getting our results.
I got my results.
I got my result. Who wants to go first?
I'm salty about mine.
Rachel, why don't you go
Rachel,
first?
why don't you go first?
I'm a vulture!
So read us the description. You are a vulture with the birthright of...
You are a vulture, but some call you a skin witch. Your birthright is hunting, and your tracking skills are unparalleled. Hiding from you is futile. It's only a matter of time until you uncover what you're after. I am not a vulture.
If you could pick one of the casts, what would you be?
I feel like I romanticize being a crow,
Yes.
because wouldn't we all? And ideally, I think I'd be more likely to fit into the owl cast.
Which we did not see a lot of in the last book, necessarily. Or we
No.
didn't talk about, but we will talk about them more in the Faithless Hawk.
Yes.
Mhm.
Leah, what's yours?
I got an owl.
I hate you. I hate you.
It says, you are an owl with the birthright of memory. Your gift shows itself in many ways, whether it's remembering a hidden escape route or cherishing moments from the past. As an owl, you have everything locked away.
Here's the funny thing about that. You don't have a great memory.
No, I have an absolutely terrible memory. I don't remember anything at all.
But her birthright could help her with that.
Yeah, I did take this before and I got Swan, and I thought that was more accurate.
Fitting, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess I chose just a little bit different this time.
I got owl the first time I did this.
I have never gotten owl.
You've taken this like 5 times.
Yes.
I don't think they count anymore. Like, if you just keep
It's like when people
Yeah.
keep redoing the sorting hat thing on whatever
Pottermore,
it is.
yeah.
And they just keep making new accounts until they get the house they want. I'm like,
The-
that's not
okay,
how this works.
But the other times I've taken it, I got hawk, crane, and the very first time I took it, I was a crow.
Interesting.
So, Maggie, what'd you get this time?
I got Phoenix.
Again?
Again, did I get it the first time?
So this owl that you have on here is the second time you took it. The first time you took it, you got Phoenix.
I did, and I was like, this doesn't seem right. But I did it again. You're a phoenix, a royal with the birthright of fire. Heck yeah. You cannot be harmed by flames and can conjure fire at will. Well, debatable. Unless you're Jasimir. Protect yourself, because being of the highest, I can never say this word, echelon, echelon,
Echelon?
Echelon, there we go. Being of the highest echelon means you have a long way to fall. Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun. You are much more active right now, and I am here for it.
You also look very cold.
I am cold.
Do you want another blanket?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm just cold all the time.
That's fair.
I am going to put you all on the spot and ask you a
Mhm.
question, because we didn't actually talk about what books we're reading or read, because we
We did that
same
in the
day.
last episode.
But this just popped into my head. What do you think your next read is going to be? Especially asking Maggie, because this is our last duology for the season. Like, this is our last real book. So what are
And-
you going to read in your freedom?
In my freedom. Well, I do need to start thinking about our next season, which we'll talk about not today, but another
Yeah.
time.
Because we're going to have a wrap-up
Yeah.
episode.
We'll be talking more about season 2 soon. But in the meantime, you totally put me on the spot.
I
gotta
know, I'm
remember what
sorry.
books I'm reading. Right now, I am reading a poetry book called Great Goddesses by Nikita Gill. I don't usually read a lot of poetry, but this had caught my eye on the internet, and then I found like a damaged copy on discount at a bookstore.
Mhm.
Like, the cover was bent a little bit and they couldn't sell
Gotcha.
it as new. So I picked that up and I'm reading that right now and I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I want to read, the other book I brought with me for this weekend was A Lesson in Vengeance by Victoria Lee.
Mhm.
I think I'm getting her name right. I don't remember it off the top of my head. So I want to read that soon. I have Iron Widow on my shelf to read, but I kind of want to wait till the sequel comes out next year to read it so that I can just read it all at once. Because the sequel just got announced, Heavenly Tyrant, which sounds really good. There was one other thing. Oh, and I'm only thinking of this because I know this book just came out, and I told Rachel I'm not allowed to buy any brand new books this week unless I find this one. It's Portrait of a Thief by Grace D. Lee, I think. Sorry, I don't know why I mixed her middle initial and last name together, but I digress. That book looks really good, and a friend of mine, Charmaine, who's a friend of the show because she was on our Vicious episode. She read an advanced reader's copy of Portrait of a Thief and loved it, so I am really excited to read it.
I didn't know she got an arc of that.
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check myself now, actually, because I think she wrote a review of it.
Interesting.
Portrait of a Thief. It was a digital arc.
Yeah. An arc is still an arc.
Indeed. Yeah, she rated it 5 stars.
That's awesome.
I'm glad that she really enjoyed it, and that makes me want to read it even more. Also, Chloe Gong, who wrote These Violent Delights Are Violent Ends, and is writing Foul Lady Fortune, which I'm really excited for.
I think I might like that one more than I'm going to like the other two.
I think you will, too. I think I might like Foul Lady Fortune more,
because that's just more my vibe.
Yeah. Anyway, Chloe Gong has also rated Portrait of a Thief 5 stars, so that gives me hope and excitement, and I hope we find it this weekend so I can buy it and not feel guilty about it.
I got you.
That was a long answer to your short question.
Leah, what are you thinking you're going to read next?
If it counts, I've already started For the Wolf, but I want that to be one of my books. I like it so far. I just need to actually sit down and read it. I also want to reread the Cruel Prince series by
we could do that as a buddy read.
Holly Black.
Yeah.
Because I read those early last year, so I want to read through them again.
It's been like a year since we read them, because I read them just a little bit ahead of you.
Yeah. And then I also want to reread the Maybe Someday series. So those are good books.
And for me, I want to listen to a nonfiction book titled Pandora's Jar, Women in Greek Myths.
I was just talking with our mythology friend, about that book.
I saw it at Barnes & Noble, so I'm not surprised.
Yes.
And I almost bought it, but I was strong-willed, and I stuck to the one book that I was going to read.
Good job.
Thank you. It's very hard. So I want to read that. I'm rereading Truly Devious again, which, is anybody surprised?
No.
The answer is no. one of my next reads is going to be A Psalm of Storm and Silence, because it is the sequel to A Song of Wraiths and Ruins. But then I also want to read Odin's Child, which was originally published, I believe, in Swedish, because the author is Swedish, and then translated into English. So that is a recent publication in English, having, just come out recently. So I'm really excited to read that, because I like mythology retellings, and I'm starting to get more into Norse mythology.
Nice.
Yeah. I had the very weird experience of going Egypt, Greek, Norse, instead of, I think, the more traditional, Rick Riordan path.
The Rick Riordan route.
of Greek, Egypt, Norse.
Yes.
So, I'm just flipping things around.
You changed the roads, Rachel.
I changed the roads. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to be reading next.
I like that.
I'm really excited. But are we ready to get into our actual discussion for today?
Sure.
Maggie, you want to read our description again?
I was actually going to ask our special guest to read the description.
I can read it.
I read it last time.
Yes.
So our little description says, now that Fi has returned Tavin and Jasimir to Master General Draga, she can finally return to her roads and deliver mercy to the plague-infected. However, when the king dies and Queen Rusana blames the crows, specifically Fi's band, will the crows make it to safety before all 12 hells break loose? Will Fi fight until the crows are free, or will she let the pain of betrayal hold her hostage?
Thank you. I thought I was funny by putting the 12 hells in, because...
Very clever.
Thank you. But as a reminder, if you have not read The Merciful Crow, please make sure you read that one first, because all of our discussion is kind of going to be based around that, into The Faithless Hawk. Go ahead, Maggie.
I was gonna say, or at the very least, read our or listen to our episode from last time.
Yes, for sure. And just as a reminder of trigger warnings, they're pretty much the same. So we have murder and attempted murder, lots of blood, lots of death, death of parents mentioned very explicitly, dismemberment, vomiting, fire, plague, teeth and bones, and then mention of torture. The only additional one we have to add.
I want to say this because there's just like, it's not violent, but it's like grotesque body stuff. Like,
yeah.
With skin and
hair. And...
So if it's not explicit, but if that's something that makes you uncomfortable, just know that will come up, and just so you're not caught off guard.
We do burn it.
Yes.
Everything
gets set on fire, and it's fine.
Yeah. It's fine. But just like in the last book, our main characters are still Faye, Tavin, and Jasimir. Faye has been made Crow Chief of her band now, so she is leading the way. Tavin is openly a Hawk Phoenix witch, and it is known that he is the son of Draga and the king. And then Jasimir is still the crown prince of Sabor, even though Tavin is older than him. Mm-hmm. But Jasimir is still not a Phoenix witch, which is fine. We still love him.
He's fine. And they're currently working on getting him back to the capital city where he can claim his...
Dumosa.
Yes.
Where he can claim his crown.
Yeah.
So when it comes to...
When it comes to the Crow Band.
The Crows, we have Pa/Kerr. He's still here. He is moving away from being the chief because he can no longer deliver mercy because he lost his pinky finger.
Yes.
Which is more important than people think it is. Mm-hmm. Just side note.
All your fingers are important. You should try to keep them on as much as possible.
This is very true. But he ends up leaving the roads and becomes... well, do we want to talk about this now? The dead gods?
Yeah, I think we need to talk about that a little bit. So we didn't really touch on the sort of mythology or religion that surrounds the Merciful Crow because it wasn't super relevant in the first
Merciful
book.
Crow, yeah.
But, and Rachel's going to have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I am going to do my darndest while she chugs her Diet Dr. Pepper across the table from me.
You got this, Maggie. I believe in you.
So... there are 1,000 gods, like, they're called the 1,000 dead gods, right? And these gods are no longer active in their world. And you don't necessarily, like, if you were a Greek mythology nerd growing up because you were a Percy Jackson kid or what have you, you know, like, oh, you have Zeus, the god of thunder, and you have Poseidon, the god of the seas. That's not really how this works.
No.
It's a lot more either very specific or just... you have names, like, so there's Little Witness, there's,
Eater of Bones.
The Eater of Bones, you
Genmar.
have Genmar the Messenger, and those kinds of things. So anyway, these 1,000 dead gods, they created everything, they created the people, they created the castes, and they are the ones who gave the castes their birthrights.
Right, because each of the gods is associated with a specific caste.
Yes. So, like, and those castes, the gods for each caste correlate with the number of witches, right?
Right.
So, like, there are...
24 Phoenix gods.
Yes, and so there are...
Supposed to be
24 Phoenix witches, which we'll talk about another time. But, like this, is it the swans who really keep track of their...
Yes, there are 3 swan gods, therefore there are 3 swan witches.
So each, what am I trying to say? Each caste has their own gods, and that is why... And oftentimes there are god graves around their country, right? Around their world. And if you are on the grounds of a god grave, yes, Rachel?
I just realized why there are 12 hells.
For the 12 castes?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
This is like when we were talking about the calendar system in this, and I said, yeah, there's 12 months because each caste correlates with a month. And Rachel was like, huh? This is what I'm around here for.
Hey, I get a lot of the little tiny, teeny...
Teensy
like,
things.
the fact that in The Merciful Crow, Margaret Owen used the word betwixt all over, and betwixt is my favorite preposition.
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 Preposition. But in the Faithless Hawk, she doesn't use it.
At all?
No.
Well, you don't know because you haven't finished the book.
Okay, shut up.
Yeah, maybe it's at the end.
Maybe
You
it's at
just
the
don't
end.
know.
Take a look, Leah.
I don't like either of you.
In fairness to Rachel, I did not notice the thing about the 12 health either until she just pointed it out. So
Thank you.
I got it.
I will come to her defense on that one. But I am also going to make fun of her.
Okay, well, at least I didn't have well, why do they mention every time they speak in this other language instead of this one? Well, maybe because it was written in that one.
Call back to when we were students in college and we sometimes had to point out the obvious to our dear
friends.
Dear
friends.
All that to say, what was I even saying? Oh, so there's god graves around the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of the crow shrines are on a crow, or many of the crow shrines are on a god grave.
Yes.
And
not all of them, but a lot of them.
And the reason that anyone in the Phoenix cast can summon fire on the palace grounds is they buried all of their gods on the palace grounds. And there's so much power already concentrated there.
Mm-hmm.
All that to say, all witches in this world, there's 1,000 witches across the cast, because there's 1,000 gods. And each witch is believed to be the reincarnation of a particular god. But
Yes.
you don't necessarily know that as your upbringing.
Right. You don't know which god you are.
Yes.
And even some people don't believe that the witches are reborn gods.
Mm-hmm.
So we do find out that this is in fact.
Yes.
Right? That happens relatively early in the book. Because Pa decides that he is ready to leave the roads, but not in a gruesome death way.
Mm-hmm.
In I'm going to keep a crow shrine because I cannot fulfill my duties anymore.
Yeah. Crows are actually very good about caring for their elderly or people who are unable to walk the roads, and it's you will become a caretaker of the shrine. So they go to Little Witness's tower.
Yes, and Little Witness is a god reborn, and she reassigns Pa to his actual grave. So he becomes Genmar, who's the crow messenger god, and he runs that shrine, which is one of the biggest shrines in all of Sabor.
It's massive.
Yeah. We will talk more about Little Witness.
Yeah, we'll talk more about Little Witness later. But that's all you need to know. That is where we find Pa most of the time. Yes. He's kind of, not necessarily sidelined, but he is taking on a different role.
Yeah, and he does a really good job with his role. But we still have Wretch, and we kind of find out that Wretch and Pa had a thing.
Is it explicitly stated? I was just going to say, that is a very strong theory.
Yeah, I think it's not explicitly stated that they had a thing, but it is more than heavily implied.
Yes.
And I think that is a fair statement.
Yeah.
Leah's nodding. You can't see that.
Yeah.
Hangdog is still dead, but he...
I'm glad we established that.
Okay. Well, he could be a skin gas, because
Still
he
dead.
does show up as a skin gas at the end of The Merciful Crow. We'll talk more about skin gas in a little bit. But Hangdog still haunts almost every single decision that Fi makes.
I think at every turn, Fi thinks about how different move, she could be like Hangdog.
Yes. Madcap is still vibing, and we love them. And then we have these two twins. I love them. Bod and Varlet. And they're twins. They are fraternal twins. Both very protective of Fi. And Varlet loves to flirt with Madcap.
Bod is not a fan of her brother's antics.
Not at all. But Bod is it very much comes alongside of Wretch, and they both walk with Fi in a very, women helping women role. At one point we see Fi crying, and it's Wretch and Bod, and then eventually Pa comes in, but the two women really, being protective and loving at Fi.
Draga's back.
Draga! Mama Draga! I love Draga. I feel like I can really talk about my feelings about her now, because we're after The Merciful Crow.
Yes.
I love Draga, and I'm so... she plays a much bigger role in this one. and we very much see her acting more the military general-esque than previously.
We love her. Jasindra is also in the memory of a lot of these scenes. Like, she's obviously dead, but...
Because we are at the palace again.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense for us to get a little bit more flashback and stuff.
It's not, like, exact, but, I totally lost my train of thought. The dog distracted me.
I'm so sorry.
It is not in... She's not literally haunting the scenes, but her ghost seems to be, like, there.
The same way Hangdog's existence haunts Fi.
Yes.
Jasindra's haunts the palace.
Yes.
Thurmir.
Oh.
I mean, the story kicks off with him being reported dead.
This is very true, and I am not sad that he dies.
No tears were shed in this household.
Not at all. Then we have Vimo, the vulture who turned on Tatterhelm in the last book. She plays a massive role, and I actually really like her.
I like Vimo, and I have thoughts about her later. We don't talk to her, like, a whole lot. Like, she doesn't have as much, quote-unquote, screen time, but she's definitely more important to the story.
Yes, and she's actually, like, being held prisoner the entire book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's vibing.
She is really good at playing her role.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that she has a bit of a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in The Merciful Crow, she's like, I never wanted to be this.
Mm-hmm.
And Fi is rightfully upset. Like, why did you wait until the very end?
Why'd you do it?
Yeah. But I also understand why Vimo acted in the way that she did, because who's gonna say no to the queen, right?
You can't.
So the fact that Vimo has this redemption arc of, like, working for the queen to then working with Fi, I think is really impressive.
Agreed.
Hey, Leah, do you want to talk about Coda?
I love Coda.
This is a new character.
This is new character. This is a hawk soldier.
Yeah, so Coda is one of the, like, volunteers that goes out with Fi's band after they leave wherever they were.
Trickavoy?
Trickavoy, thank you.
Trickavoy.
Maybe. Wherever they were.
Trickavoy, yes.
And he, like, hangs out with the crow band.
He's like a police escort who becomes friends with them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He becomes a good friend to a lot of them, which I think is really cool. Like, as the story kind of unfolds more, you can see how the hawks are getting more comfortable with the crows around, and how they're, instead of separating themselves, they kind of become one group, and not just the crows with the hawks with them.
Yes.
100%. Maggie and I both have mixed feelings about Coda, and Leah very much doesn't.
No, I like him. I like this kind of character, which I don't know how much
we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
we'll more later.
Unfold more later. But
Coda,
I really like his role in this.
Yeah, he's a good character.
Mm-hmm. He's a good character to have in the story.
Yes,
absolutely.
We were talking about this at lunch, and I said I like Coda because Jasimir likes Coda, and I will let you take that how you will.
We'll talk more about that later.
That's not a spoiler because I didn't specify how.
No, I just said we'll talk more about that later.
And Maggie, why do you like Coda?
Because he likes cats.
Yep. So that tells you all you need to know about our personalities.
Mm-hmm. I just like him. He's a cool character.
Coda is also joined by a character we saw in The Merciful Crow. Rachel's gonna correct me. I'm gonna take a gamble. Lakima.
Lakima.
Okay, Lakima. We've been over this a lot, and I still can't get it right. So, Corporal is her title? Corporal Lakima. Rachel wrote in all caps, "The best hawk."
Am I wrong?
No.
Pretty cool.
Just saying, because technically, Tavin is not full hawk.
Mm-hmm.
I could accept an argument for Draga, but Lakima was like, crow babies are not my babies.
Mm-hmm. She volunteered to escort Fi's band of crows as they continue on the road.
She was the, like, original
Mhm.
volunteer.
And she's also a hawk witch, right?
Yes,
And
she
she
is.
teaches Fi how to use hawk teeth for healing, which is a very difficult skill.
Which she, like, all the crow witches eventually learn how to use hawk teeth appropriately, but none of them really get taught how to use the hawk teeth by a hawk. So
Yes.
Fi is the first one who gets taught about the hawk birthright by a hawk.
Mhm.
Lakima also continues lessons on sword use with Fi, which were originally started in the Merciful Crow with Tavin. And I can't remember if she also helps Fi with her reading, which is something Jasimir helped Fi with in the Merciful Crow.
There is mentions of this. I don't know if it's Lakima specifically. I can't remember. But
it could be one of the other ones. One of the other hawks that come with them. But
so those are our two new characters.
Yes.
That are important to this story.
I definitely have Lakima feelings, and we will talk a lot about her.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I can say now is that she is my age.
Yep.
She is 26, and I'm like, I feel very unaccomplished.
You mean you're disappointed that you're not out there fighting for the lives of crows and dealing with plague and...
Yes!
I'm sorry. That life has been so disappointing for you.
It's okay.
Wouldn't you rather be here recording our podcast together, though?
No, I think she'd rather be in the book.
Okay.
If she had that choice.
I'll just cry myself to sleep tonight. It's fine.
Maggie.
Rachel.
If you had the choice between living in the Little Thieves universe or continuing to live in this one...
Little Thieves doesn't have a plague.
Okay. I'm just transferring one plague to another.
That's a good thing.
Right.
All I'm saying is, well, between Little Thieves, the real world, and the Faithless Hawk, Little Thieves is the only one that doesn't have a plague.
Okay, and I would just prefer this universe as opposed to this one.
That's fair.
You said this for both.
I know. That universe for this one. I'm referencing the Merciful Crow universe.
Mm-hmm.
Which Margaret Owen has stated that she wishes she could write more in this universe, but doesn't want to given our current atmosphere of COVID.
She said that in a video interview I was watching once. Like, that's valid.
I think that's fair. But I also don't necessarily know where she would go from here, which leads us into our antagonists.
Yeah. Rusana's back. Surprise, surprise. She's still horrible.
Surprise, surprise! She can go die in a hole.
Listeners, can you tell from our tone that we are not Rusana fans? Actually, if anyone out there is a Rusana fan, I'd like you to take a moment and just sit with those feelings and try and not have them anymore.
Because if you agree with her, we need to have a chat.
Just a chat. Just a talk. Just to check in.
We need to have a talk the way Fi has a talk.
with anybody.
With anybody.
Any person.
There may be fire involved.
I'm not sorry.
The Oleander Gentry also appear in this book, but...
pretty massively this time. They kind of get free reign at this point, and it's scary.
Yep. Sure is.
But...
plot time?
The plot time. Dun dun dun. So go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, I think Leah should start us out now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it starts off with Fi dealing mercy to this peacock girl. I don't remember her name.
Niemi.
Yep.
How did you say it?
Niemi?
I said Niemi.
Weird. Once again, we don't know how to say any of these names. We are guessing and going off of the audiobook, which hopefully is kind of right, as much as our memories can, But she is a girl that got the plague, so Fi and her band were sent out to deal with all of that.
And the book opens with the line that echoes the Merciful Crow, right?
Yes.
The Merciful Crow enters with, Pa was taking too long to cut the boy's throat.
And this one is, Fi was taking too long to cut the girl's throat. It's an exact mirror. It's a parallel.
Mm-hmm.
If I were talking to my students about this, I would say, look at that parallel structure.
Look at that parallel structure. Good way to compliment a building.
Oh no.
Rachel, please don't look for our equipment.
Okay, but eventually Fi does take care of Niemi?
I'll just go with whatever you say.
Pick
one.
Both. I'm not picking one.
You're the expert.
Yeah, well. And she takes away a scroll titled The Thousand Conquests, which really disparages crows and highlights the advantages of being in any other caste.
It's like an epic poem in their world is kind of the impression I get from it, or like some kind of long narrative story. Might have parallel structure.
Oh my
god. But it, like what Rachel said, it is very pro wealthy castes and very anti-crow.
Yes. Even if it's not necessarily pro-middle caste, it's not anti-middle caste. And this is anti-crow. So after they deal with the Peacock Girl, they end up traveling to Little Witness, who is a dead god reborn, in this case, like a 7-year-old girl, who has the ability to remember everything in her past life when she is on her god grave, which is where they are heading. So we meet Little Witness, and they're supposed to be there to talk about Pa and where he's going to get stationed.
They're trying to find out which crow shrine needs a keeper.
Yes. And they say, go here, I need to talk to Fi. And Little Witness is very cryptic and pretty much harasses Fi.
Yep.
And Little Witness is like, yeah, in past lives you've killed me. And Fi's like, I wonder why.
I wonder why that could be.
100% being like, I know exactly why I've killed you in past lives. You're an annoying little person. So, doesn't kill Little Witness this time. But then we find out that the king has died.
Can I say something important here?
Yeah.
One of the important things that Little Witness tells Fi is that, she basically tells Fi that
the covenant oath hasn't been kept.
That the oath hasn't been kept, and that the crows had a birthright.
Yes.
Which are, like, huge game changers.
Massive.
So that is important. Just keep that in the back of your mind.
Keep that little nugget.
Keep that pinned under the corkboard of your brain.
And the reason they find out that the king is dead is Coda interrupts them. Mm-hmm. And Coda is not supposed to know. None of the hawks know where the shrines are exactly. They normally stay back and then let the crows go, so that way the crows can keep these shrines as a secret like they are meant to be. Because they are safe havens for the crows. And the witnesses. The hawks have been very aware of that. Like, this is a protective measure, and they've been very conscientious of what they should and shouldn't see.
But when that messenger comes...
When Coda comes, yeah.
No, when the messenger comes to the crows, when they find out that the king has died, Wretch realizes they need, like, those who went into Little Witness's tower need to find out immediately. And Wretch is the one who shows Coda the way into the tower.
Yes.
I'm not crazy.
For that reason. So they go drop Pa off at Genmar's shrine.
It's emotional.
It is very emotional. And one of the first things that happens is, like, Pa starts crying when he realizes where he is. And Fi gets upset, and she goes, he is home, and he is home without me, essentially.
They get to the shrine, and they part ways with the hawks, right? And, Lakima says, this is the last I'll see you, isn't it? And Pa says, most likely. He Most likely, he said, and tapped his right fist to his mouth and held it out. It was a gesture for greeting colleagues, but also for the parting of friends. Now, on the 4th day of Phoenix Moon, Corporal Lakima kissed her knuckles and clasped Pa's hand without hesitation. Fortune's favor to you occur. Enjoy your rest. I'll try. Pa let go. Keep my girl safe, I. Lakima gave him a nod weighted with meaning. Yes, Chief. And I just like that little note of, even in the short time that the Hawks have been with the Crows, they have changed.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's proof that things change, that people can change. People can unlearn what they have been taught. And then the tears keep coming because he was home, and terribly he was home without her, and now I'm going to cry, and Pa is crying, and Fi is crying, and it's fine.
But one thing that Pa keeps consistently saying to Fi is, like, you are enough. Like, what you have done, what you are doing, it is enough, and you are enough.
Right.
And that is a reoccurring theme throughout the entire book of, you are enough. Or, and it wasn't enough. Yeah. And it hurts.
It's painful.
Hello everyone, Future Rachel once again. This is where we are ending today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. We will continue this discussion next week with part 2 of the Faithless Hawk, so please make sure that you join us for that conversation next week. And then after that, we will have a season 1 wrap-up because we are almost done. But thank you so much for joining us today, and I am going to cut back to past Rachel and Maggie and maybe Leah? I don't remember if she's in our outro this time. So, for now,
don't forget you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at BookExpertPod. You can email us at notthebookexpert@gmail.com or visit our website at bookexpertpod.wordpress.com. All of those links are always in the description if you need them. And if you enjoy our show, and if you enjoy listening to us talk about books for several hours, you can leave us a review on Apple or wherever you find your podcast, and we would love to hear what you think.
Indeed.
So, and thank you again, Leah, for being a part of this show and spending the day with us.
I had a good time.
I'm glad that this worked out, and I'm glad we got to do this in person.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I really enjoyed this experience.
So, with that, have a good day, everybody.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Hope you know your own way home.